the U.S. is pressuring countries here to complain about China. They don't care. The biggest trade partner is China. Their infrastructure partner is China. Their biggest investor, source of tourism, everything is China. This is a small dispute. This is not an actual conflict. It's the U.S. inserting itself and trying to create a conflict out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was I trying to say? I think it's about the word game of the media, because
Yes.
you just showed the picture. I think that's also a good example, because we all know, anyone who knows the politics or international relations, they know that United States and every country that has a diplomatic relationship with China recognize Taiwan as part of China. It's written in the documents. Yes, like Brian is showing.
Right. State Department, state.gov. We do not support Taiwan independence. Right there in black and white for everyone to see. That's the U.S. State Department.
Yeah, that's the foundation of having a diplomatic relations with China. So if your country has a diplomatic relations with China, it recognizes Taiwan as part of China. But on the official level, on government level, they do that. But all the media is doing another thing, because they allow media to play with the words, because they keep saying China and Taiwan, China, Taiwan, like they are two different things. They are trying to create two Chinas in their narratives, in their coverage. International organizations, institutions describe Taiwan as either China's Taiwan region or Chinese Taipei. That's the official word international organizations use, because international organizations like the United Nations, international organizations, United States, World Peace. It is an international organization, right? So United Nations, all those international organizations use either Chinese Taiwan region or Chinese Taipei to describe Taiwan. They will never write China and Taiwan separately, because you are comparing a province of China with a country. That's not right. But the Western media keep using the two words. So they are putting this idea in public people's minds, to teach them there are two things, there are two different things. So I think a lot of people got to believe, well, no, they're different. So when the first time they realize, oh, they're the same, when they hear China say Taiwan is part of China, they feel ridiculous, because they have been reading the reports from Western media for decades. So the government is saying one thing, their media is doing another thing, is brainwashing people into believing something else. Our friend Zhong Xiangyu, who's from Taiwan, he said a similar thing. When he was younger, Taiwan people or Taiwanese has always been a regional identity, until one day he suddenly realized there's a complete change of curriculum in schools from a top-down level, or from top-down scale. Suddenly the government wants to change their curriculum, don't teach them history anymore. And even in their textbook, they are trying to teach history, like China's history and Taiwan's history separately, which is ridiculous, because they cannot, without the Chinese history, they cannot learn the full history about themselves. So I mean, I'm just bring this background to the people, just to say, because a lot of people are brainwashed, are literally brainwashed to believing something that contradict to the history or contradict to their government's documents. And what happened between Chinese mainland and Taiwan is the legacy of our civil war, because after the Chinese people's the CPC took power, the Kuomintang fled to Taiwan, and the then leader of Kuomintang, Chiang Kai-shek, trying to claim his party, which located in Taiwan, to be the official representation of China. But of course, he lost. So what happened between Chinese mainland and Taiwan is our civil war, and should be resolved by ourselves. We have differences. but both parties believe there's only one China.
Which it even says this on you're explaining the Chinese perspective, and that's even what the State Department officially says. But then what the U.S. government does, I mean, you're talking about the media lying to people. And I've talked to Americans that honestly believe Taiwan is an actual country. It is not even the sort of separatist forces on the island province don't consider it as an independent country, but there's Americans that think that. But it's even on the State Department website, they say this is an internal issue, needs to be resolved by Chinese people on both sides of the strait. Just as you're saying. I mean, and this is what I mean is so outrageous, because the lie is so ridiculous. They admit that this is what the situation is, but then every day, oh, China's bullying Taiwan. We have to stick up for Taiwan. Taiwan should declare independence. I mean, these are things that we hear people even in Congress talking about. Flying to Taiwan. Could you imagine if Chinese, some high-level Chinese government official flew to some place in America?
Flying to California.
Without asking for permission.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, we support your independence, and let's see how the politicians in the United States will react. They fly all the way to our borders, saying, well, we are doing the free navigation. Just imagine if Chinese warships are like around Cuba or around Mexico, how would they feel? Well, America will not tolerate that, right?
No, not at all. It's unbelievable, but again, it all comes back to this is why we have to keep working, no matter how hard they try to make it, for this information to get out. It's so important, because I think people can understand I really do. I think people have to see China to understand the scale of what's happening there. It's just on such a massive scale, and it is changing the world and people. I think Shang Yu is actually in the chat. Welcome, Shang Yu.
Really?
Yes. So
shout out to Shang Yu.
Yes. Yeah, he was just on. Because you had us both on, and I had meant for months to get both of you onto my channel, and just it's you understand. It gets so busy, and time just flies by, and there's just so many things that pop up. But yeah, is there anything else? Because I'm more than happy to listen to any more points you want to make, because you've made a lot of really great points, and I hope people that are tuning in or watching this later are learning a lot, because I know even I'm learning a lot. And I've been on your show before, and I've watched a lot of your videos, but it's still like you say, people have to talk to. I always tell people, get a Chinese friend, and not some Chinese friend who's ashamed of China and wants to be Western. Find a Chinese person that's proud to be Chinese and get to know them. Make a friend out of them and learn from their point of view, and it will change your perspective.
So, and also I recommend, if you can learn different languages, learn Chinese or whatever the languages you of the country that you want to go, because only talking to English-speaking people also will tunnel you into like a bubble. Because, for example, all the English-speaking people in China, they are probably lived and studied in other countries. They got a good education, so you can describe them as an elite group. I don't like the word elite, but I mean, they share similar background either in terms of lifestyle or education. So you may find some of them are like-minded. Maybe some of them really appreciate the Western style of lifestyle, democracy. They really appreciate Europe, America. It could be that. But if you are able to speak Chinese, you will be tunneled into a different group of the people are very local. They come from very different life backgrounds. They think very differently from us. We have 1.4 billion people. We don't all think the same. We have very different opinions. Some are good, some are bad. I think if you are able to come here to explore by yourself, and also if you are able to speak different languages, you will get the chance to experience different perspectives, to understand more people.